and welcome back to Wee Woolly Wonderfuls. In this video we're just going to go through a few basics before we get started. A few commonly asked questions about crochet. Firstly, hook size and wool size. We have different size hooks for different thicknesses of yarn. So the smaller the hook, this one for example is a 3mm hook. This is for thinner wools. The thicker the wool becomes, the larger the crochet hook that you need to use. This is a 3.5mm and this one is a 4mm. So the thicker the wool, the larger the hook you would use. On your ball band, when you buy a ball of wool, it will normally advise you what hook size to use. For example, this is an Aran thickness wool and it says a 5mm hook. That would apply if we were making something such as a blanket or a hat, something along those lines. If we're doing amigurumi, which is toy making, which is something like Foxy here, trying to get in the camera, hello. We would go for a hook that is a couple of sizes smaller than the ball band suggests. We do get a lot of people asking, why have I got a 3.5mm hook in my kit when the wool ball band says 5mm? Is it wrong? No, it's not. The reason we do that is because with making toys, you actually need to have your stitches really dense. If you can see from here, you can't see the stuffing through. They're nice and tight. If we used a 5mm hook to make this toy, we would have holes and gaps and our stuffing would show through, which makes it look very unprofessional, and it's also not very safe because children can pull out the stuffing and get hold of it. So you need it nice and tight. Everybody's tension is a little bit different, so if you were making something and you find you could still see gaps, you would need to go down the crochet hook size and try again. Some people may find an Aran wool works better with a 3mm, 3.5 or a 4mm. It is personal tension, but what I use is a 3.5 because that works pretty well for most people. If our kit had a double knit wool, such as our elves, that comes with a 3mm hook. The Aran is usually a 3.5, and our chunky wool kits, we use the 4mm width. You can get crochet hooks anything from around a 1mm right the way up to 15mm, which are huge, and they're for the big super chunky wools. So there's lots of different ones, but we're just going to mainly concentrate on what we use for our crochet kits. The other thing with crochet to remember is everybody holds the hook differently. It's a good idea to just get used to holding the hook. You need to grip it quite firmly. Some people hold it like that, some people more like this. You do what is comfortable for yourself, and you will find your own method after a little bit of time. One of the other main things to know before you start is that there are two types of crochet terms. One is UK Crochet Terms, United Kingdom, and the other is US Crochet Terms, United States. The stitches in both of them do have similar names. For example, a double crochet stitch in UK terms is different from a double crochet stitch in United States terms. This may sound a little complicated, but it's something that if you don't realise, you can end up doing the wrong stitch and then wondering why your crochet looks completely different to what you're trying to make. So always before you start, read the pattern, and it will usually tell you whether it's UK or US, and make sure that you're using the correct terminology. We write our patterns in UK crochet terms because we're based in the UK, and a lot of our crochets uses the double crochet stitch. So once you've mastered that stitch, you can pretty much make most of our toys, and occasionally there is a different stitch used, but we're going to create videos for all of those so that you can see them if you need to. So it gives you a little bit of background, a bit of boring technical stuff, but it's better to know these things before you start. And the next video, if you want to watch, is going to be our magic circle. So keep tuned and let's get started.